Welcome to Moving Forward with Uponor. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Marcus.
And we're here every Thursday to talk to you about all things plumbing, mechanical, and industry. We have a really cool topic today. We're going to talk about offsite construction and prefab. So Marcus, I guess maybe first thing we should go over is what is offsite construction?
So offsite construction is constructing parts of a building at a different location. Other common terms for offsite construction or prefab is modular construction, pod construction, or panelization.
So panelization is really popular in the residential market. So you'll see trucks rolling by with wall panels on there, right? So they're basically prefabricating everything offsite that they can, most typically with wall panels, and you'll see that a lot with wood frame construction. But on the commercial side, more popular are pods and modules, right? Or modular construction. And there's really kind of two types of modular construction. There's really permanent, and then there's relocatable. And we're going to kind of use an example here. So Marcus and I are both have young kids at home. So inevitably when we're not stepping on Legos, we're playing with them. And so what we decided we were going to do is we're going to kind of do a representation of how you would go about using modular construction, right? So Marcus and I decided that we wanted to use modular construction for our building, and there's a lot of reasons why we would do that. We hit a little bit on quality control, right? And quality is typically the biggest reason you'll see offsite construction used. And the main reason being is that you're physically building these things in a controlled environment, right? So you're not having to worry about things like weather or potentially other trades that you're having to coordinate things with. Now you're all under one roof in one controlled environment.
Which really improves your productivity, which we've continued to talk about is important. With productivity comes increased better schedule or meeting schedule timelines. You had mentioned coordination, reducing the on-site rework, which is a big deal. So if there's a change or anything that happens on site, coming back, redoing the rework, if it was damaged from other trades, I know that's a common situation on a project. And also that concept of green construction, where you're reducing waste, working with less assemblies, and be able to also provide that safer environment. So you have the US where modularization construction only counts for 4% of all projects. Compared to around the world, Sweden is over 80% modularization offsite construction for their projects. Japan is looking at about 20% of their projects. China right now has a program going on, or pilot program. It's investing over $100 million in a modular construction type setup. So really the whole concept here, this modularization, lifting up the construction industry to have better productivity is a growing trend here in the US, but it's just not happening at a fast rate.
And in countries like China, for example, the reason it's working is because they're investing from the top down. So it's really like a public works type program where the government of China is saying, okay, we're going to require that X percentage of all these new projects are going to require modular construction, because they know of all the productivity gains that they're going to see from that, and make sure that the money is being used properly and that the projects are being completed on time. And one of the other things we'll hit on is this chart is floating around, right? Everybody's been using this for a long time, and the reality is because it's true. And so one of the reasons this is really important, that offsite construction and improving productivity is really important in the construction industry, is because productivity in construction has really not changed over the last basically 30 years, right? And instead, in other industries like manufacturing, you've actually seen an incline because of things like technology and different things that have helped people become more productive to better themselves and to better different processes.
That's right, and like you mentioned, over the last 20, 30 years, the construction industry hasn't seen that increase in productivity like manufacturing has seen, that production has seen, just because it's such a labor-intensive operation and procedure to execute, that anywhere there's ability to bring that concept of manufacturing quality, that lean construction mentality into a project is critical, and that's where this offsite construction comes up. It's important to have the VDC as part of that. So the whole modular construction, building an offsite in a production or manufacturing type setting, bringing it to on-site is just a big productivity booster.
Right, so the example is over the last 20 years, productivity in manufacturing sector has increased 65%. And in that same time frame, construction is basically flat, right? So obviously things are changing. It's just a matter of how fast our contractor is going to be able to adopt and adapt to those different changes to be able to kind of help things go more smoothly and make projects be more productive. And a lot of that's going to require automation, investment, right? Investment in technology, investment in skilled labor, those sorts of things.
Yeah, so we really kind of talked about industry trends in the U.S., took a peek at the global trends of what's going on in some of the other countries that have that forward thinking. Let's really drill into what our MEP trades are looking at, specifically the mechanical and plumbing industry. What type of common applications are we seeing and the amount of those projects going into a prefabrication, modular, or offsite type construction?
So every year, MCAA puts out this technology report in partnership with JB Knowledge. And one of the things that they survey contractors on are looking towards the future. Where do they see, which types of projects, for example, do they see most of the prefabrication and offsite construction being completed on? And overwhelmingly, the top 3 project types are healthcare, multifamily, and college buildings and dorms.
Yeah, with the biggest growth opportunity being in multifamily. So think of the opportunity there, whether it be a concrete type structure or stick frame or podium type, the opportunity to bring into that multifamily that we know is going to continue to grow, continue to be in high demand. The concept of offsite construction, bringing that to the job site for these multifamily projects, they're going to start to become coordinated projects. And we imperative too, as these opportunities grow, that the contractor and installers that are aware of these best practices. So what we want to make sure is that there's some typical applications, some really good opportunity in this offsite construction for different type of opportunities on a project.
Right, so for the sub-trades, right, so on the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing side of it, some of the most common things that you're going to see being prefabricated off-site would be things like hangers and supports are really common. Fixture batteries, we actually have an example. I think we have a video on a fixture flush bank that we have with PEX on there that we'll talk about. Things like pump skids, multi-trade racks, and then also it basically is as simple as pre-cutting pipe for riser piping. So now that we've talked about kind of the benefits of modular construction, some of the most popular building types that you're going to see modular construction and offsite construction used, and some of the most common applications for the MEP trades, let's really kind of talk about where Uponor solutions fit into that, right? So what benefits would Uponor solutions have for prefabrication and offsite construction?
So adding Uponor into your prefabrication strategy really starts with our design services team. Experts in designing, layout, estimating for our PEX or PPRCT line. Really starts with them to provide best practices and designs for your offsite construction. From there, it's leveraging our products, our connection integrity in both those systems, and then bringing that to the job site.
In addition to the suite of services that Marcus mentioned with our construction services team, we also have our BIM team that can really help you bring that content up to fabrication levels, right? So there's different levels of development. And in order to actually be able to get the full benefits of fabrication and offsite construction, you typically want to leverage BIM to be able to really do that, to be able to make sure it's going to be coordinated and that what you're building is going to fit into place once you bring it on site. And then last but not least, the actual solutions themselves, right? So how does Uponor product fit into your prefabrication strategy? So the major benefits of the piping systems themselves, right, on the PEX and the PPRCT side are flexibility, especially on the PEX side, connection integrity with both ProPEX and heat fusion, as well as weight. So obviously if you're building off-site with pods or modular and you need to transport that to the site, connection integrity and weight are obviously really important things.
Yeah, that's right, because we want to make sure that when it leaves that warehouse, that off-site location, and arrives in the job, that it's being applied and being installed and ready to go for inspection.
And that connection integrity is really important, especially compared to like systems, like copper sweater, copper press, that are much more rigid. So as you're transporting those, right, you're going to have kind of a lot of that feedback goes into the piping system as it's being transported. So having a lightweight, flexible piping system with a high connection integrity is really important.
So now bringing it all together here, we talked about the growing trend of offsite construction. We've taken a close look at what's happening in the trades at the MEP level. And now really what we want to position Uponor as being that resource, being that partner for productivity. Starting from the design, from the concept to the estimation, even through the design process in full coordination with the BIM team. Let us partner with you from the beginning on the offsite stage. Allow us to bring that best practice to the job site to execute the install.
Yeah, Marcus is right, and there's a lot of different information out there for you guys to be able to learn more on modular. There's the Modular Institute. MCAA has a lot of good information on modular and prefabrication for the different trades. So if you guys want to find out more information on those, you can check out their websites, as well as more information on Uponor products at www.uponor.com. And again, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, post questions down below, and thanks again for watching.
Thank you.